Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, we move to the debate on clauses 76 to 78. So the question is that part 2 stand part. Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I have to acknowledge my good colleague Reno Terracartney there. I slightly misled him on a debate. I'm sure he'll have the chance to put his views to the House on this part. Mr. Chairman, absolutely. Takes more than clothes to maketh a man down there. That's right. I have to say that Mr. Chairman, as I said, Labor is supporting this bill, but we do have some major problems with it and with the resourcing of biosecurity across this country. In speaking to the next part of the bill, and particularly in regard to the formation of pest management strategies.
No.
76. Oh, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Ballast water, marine environment.
Oh, yes. Mr. Chairman, I'm going back to the marine environment ones. That's what a pink tie does to you. Can I say we actually welcome, Mr. Chairman, we welcome provisions in the Biosecurity Act finally around ballast water, and it is a situation that I am familiar with because going back some 20 years, in fact, there's been an application in South Westland to export fresh water, and that was out of Jackson's Bay, and anyone who's been down there knows it is a pristine environment. I know the chairman's been down there many times, and one of the issues that arose then, and it hasn't come up that often, was the one of ballast water and what could be the potential impact of ballast water tipped into Jackson's Bay by boats that might have set out from Singapore or from some Middle Eastern port, coming down there, putting it out into there and bringing with it all the pests and diseases. At that time, no one really identified it. It was put up as an argument primarily by the Green movement at that time, way before the Green Party, but there were environmental groups that were concerned legitimately about what might happen down there through ballast water being put into that bay. I have to say that was one of a number of arguments and issues that actually put that whole project on hold. I'm sure at some stage we probably will be exporting fresh water from this country as its value increases. The issue, though, is of ballast water and management of it, and ensuring that we do not bring into this country unnecessarily, because I don't think we can ever guarantee that we won't bring something or we haven't bring it in. In fact, Undaria is a seaweed which perhaps has some commercial uses, but has been deemed a weed, most likely brought in through the ballast water of boats. And the question I have in this area, again, because we have a government that refuses to properly resource biosecurity in New Zealand, is that with all these regulations and these improvements that we have accepted are needed, then effectively we may not offer any more protection for the New Zealand marine environment with the passage of this bill than before it went through, and that would be a problem. We have here Part 19A, Protection of Marine Environment from Ballast Water. Ballast water means that, as we know, anything picked up to stabilise a boat on its way to New Zealand with a cargo's change in weight, and obviously they need to take on board water to make sure the ship doesn't tip over. What we've done here is put in place offences, defences for those people who think they might have taken all reasonable steps to minimise any potential risk to New Zealand. And it is quite as the other part of the bill is quite prescriptive. And I have to say that we hope we got it right, because as good as the chair of the Select Committee is, I'm not sure, maybe he'll take a call, I hope, and get up and explain, because I know he's been fairly diligent all the way through this process and probably has read this a number of times, so he'll be able to get up and explain each and every single part of this ballast, Mr. Chairman.
Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I say, he'll get up and explain it. Can I say that what we do have in there as well under Part 3, or we're going, up to 78, Mr. Chairman? I apologise for that. I don't want to, I'm just trying to, rush the bill through. I don't want to prolong it any longer than necessary. But it's up to 78, as I say. It does deal with marine pollution as well, another serious issue, one that has been overlooked internationally, I would suggest, and I'm not sure whether this does put us at the forefront of ballast water management internationally, but if we have a stricter regime for boats coming into our territorial waters, then so be it. We are told, ways of flushing ballast water as ships are in transit, whether that occurs or not, because I'm guessing that there's probably an offset in energy use and maybe the speed of a boat to do that. We are concerned that, in fact, this might not occur. Hence the heavy fines, up to $200,000, imprisonment for up to 2 years. That is quite a penalty for someone who discharges ballast water in breach of the regulations that we're going to allow pass through here. And I think it quite rightfully says to each and every ship owner, to the people in charge of those ships, if you come into New Zealand, then we want to keep our marine environment free of any unwanted pests and organisms. And so we're going to pass this bill, we're going to allow regulations to be put in place, and we're going to hammer you if you don't do it. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that this is a good part of the bill. We acknowledge the government, that's why we will support it. But again, if we do not have the resources to properly police and implement these regulations, then they effectively mean nothing. And in this area, it's not going to be easy. In spite of, I guess, the ship company's determination to reduce the number of ports they come into, there will be ships in our territorial waters over our fisheries areas that may not abide by these regulations. So we welcome it as part of this bill.
Sir William Seal.